as I get older, my approach to performances has changed. I try not to be a perfectionist. It's when I was younger, it had to be perfect or I would be very, very upset with myself. I've come to the realization that there is no such thing in music as perfect. Notes may be perfect. There is always something more in the interpretation that we can get. There's always somehow we can move the audience more. So there is no such thing as perfect. So the perfect performance space, the perfect performance state of being for me is one where I feel, as I said earlier, that my breath, that my air is going through the instrument, that the sound I'm creating is the core of my being. And when I feel that, then I think I'm playing pretty well.
It's difficult for me to define what's so great about music. I'd have to admit that I'm not too sure how to express it. Year after year I find that I want to make music, and most of the time I can feel its importance. Sometimes other people encourage me that it's important by reassuring me that they love music too. It seems to be perennial as the grass, music, and intrinsically human, not to say that some other creatures haven't got some music too. So I suspect that I've fallen for music, and I hope it continues to fall for me. I don't really know if I've performed well. I do the best I can and hope that it will have been good. I know when I've performed badly because I feel sick and ashamed for missing so many notes or not being with the music adequately. But I suspect that when performances are good or better, it's hard to recall exactly how or why, because you get a bit lost in the moment and it's not necessarily something that you recall. On the other hand, occasionally very special things happen, like once in my life I got up in the middle of a work and went over to the pianist and embraced him because I felt that the moment was so beautiful. You can't expect that to happen every day though.
In the moment, it's like driving a beautiful journey that you haven't driven before, that you knew was there. You've got an idea of where you're going, but what you experience on the journey is always different, and it's always different to what you imagine. And I think if it's a journey that you've done many times, then if it's a wonderful piece of music, you'll see new things every time you play it. A little bit like watching good TV. If you watch it, we had a DVD of Pride and Prejudice, and we watched that over and over again, and every time we see something new in it, and it's the same with wonderful music. Do I think or feel my way through a performance? Both. Obviously there's some brain activity going on. You'd hope so anyway. And feeling, I would say it's the balance of those two things that's really the critical thing for a successful performance, is that you don't get completely carried away with emotion, or you'll lose control and forget where you are, and it won't be so good. There's particularly in collaborative work, which I love, there's a sort of a heightened sense. You have to have a heightened sense. I describe it as ears on sticks. It's like my ears are sort of monitoring the clarinet and the cello, or the clarinet if it's just the two of us, and really ensuring that what I create here as my shapes in sound are blending and interacting with the shapes that the clarinetist is making. So it's feel, it's thinking, it's both.